Okay, one more time. I'll try to get all this done. A lot of it I'm going to get you to go through fast. When I look back at the other videos I've made, I've left out so much stuff, but there seems to be a pattern. And the good Lord's having me do this. I'm not doing this because I want to, by no means. Okay, get my list. Okay, I've done went through everything and done come to the term or to the understanding with God. I'm now officially where I left off. I was a Christian. There was no way that you could have believed in God any more than I did. There's no way. I mean, when you get your butt beat by somebody, you got a respect for them. You've got a knowledge of them. You just understand them. Okay, I had went to work at a different place. It was a Christian restaurant. The seasonal restaurant that I was at had already shut down. And this September I had went to work at a little place called Annie's. And it was right when you first come across the bridge there at Carolina Beach. And all the girls that worked there were Christian girls. Okay, I started sharing my experiences with the two of them. And one of them, the girl whose name was Debbie, she was really sharp, but she, at the same time, she was kind of way out there to the point of I didn't really understand what she was talking about sometimes, especially when it come to the spiritual side of things. Now, what I've learned is that where the Bible is, again, I'm going to tell you right, just like it is, the Bible is true. Everything the Bible says is true. I mean, it just is. The Bible talks about Mary Magdalene, and she had a strong man and several other entities that were attacking her. When I went to this new restaurant work, one of the girls was asking me questions, and I really couldn't understand them. She gave me a book to read, and I'll not say the name of the book. It was from a group of people that believed everything from a cold to an upset stomach to a pimple on your face was demonic. I mean, they really went crazy with this. I knew that wasn't the truth. So I had read this book, and I couldn't even sleep with this thing in my room. I mean, I was struggling. The only way I could sleep with this book in my bedroom was I had to put it between two Bibles. And I know that sounds crazy, but when you were as sensitive as I was right then, that's the only thing. You got to do what you got to do to survive. I'd put it between two Bibles, and then I could sleep. I finally understood enough of what the book was saying. I just knew I wasn't going to figure this out. I needed the good Lord to help me. So I, every night I'd say, well, of course you pray all the time, but at night, this one particular night, I got down and I said, Lord, I can't understand this book. I said, but I'm battling something. I said, I'm struggling. Something's just not right. I said, whatever it is, you just take care of it. Whatever needs to happen, you take care of. And so I hopped up in bed and got ready to go to sleep. Well, it wasn't 30 seconds after I got in bed, my stomach started rumbling. I mean, like, really, really rumbling. Like, okay, you need to get up and go to the bathroom kind of thing. Well, I got up out of bed and I started to walk towards the bathroom, and I couldn't hardly stand up. I actually fell up against the wall, and I had to hold on and get myself to the bathroom. I didn't understand this at all. By the time I got to the bathroom, I looked up in the mirror at the laboratory, and there was beads of sweat just rolling off of my face. I was red as a beet. I mean, I'd never seen myself like this. Well, I looked at my eyes, and I couldn't even see the color of my eyes. Like, my eyes were black. I don't have black eyes. And it was at that point I thought, okay, the good Lord's getting ready to do something. Well, I'm a typical guy. I've done read the book. Now I think I know everything, right? Well, in the name of Jesus, I just come in and everything, do everything. This, that, and the other. And this went on for several minutes. And nothing I was saying was having any good effect at all. And I knew I was going to go down. I was going to end up on the floor here in the bathroom. And, hang on. Okay, I realized how much I was in trouble. I just prayed, Lord, help me. About 1 second. Okay, about 1 second after I prayed that, in the back of my mind, it's like I had the impression of Jesus on a cloud. He spoke one word. I knew that word. I knew it well, but I had not even thought about that word. And that's a word I don't tell anybody. As soon as he said that, hang on. As soon as he said the word, which it was the name of the school, something come roaring up out of my gut, and I heaved over, and so fast, so hard, and this come out of me in a projectile type of way. This stuff hit the sink and made 2 or 3 trips around the bathroom sink and was gone. There wasn't even a drop left in the sink, and I'm sitting here like, I can't believe this. But I heard the name, and I understood what had just happened. And the thing was, it was green. It was a green, like jello thing. Remember that movie? I mean, with the little girl doing this projectile stuff? It was just like it. Luckily, I was in front of the sink. What got me is how it stayed together and disappeared. I mean, unbelievable. Well, I done read the book. And even the Bible says, if God takes something out of you, that you gotta get something back in the place of it and not let that place be empty, because this thing will come back visiting in so many days, and if he finds an empty house, he'll come back in. Well, and bring friends. Okay, boy, I didn't want none of that. So I went back and I went in my bedroom and I said my prayers, and I was good. I felt good. I had not had no programming. I didn't know that this was the way things happen. So to me, if somebody says, well, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, this is going to happen, well, you can make things happen with your mind. I didn't make this happen. This happened on its own. People can say what they want to, but in some cases, some problems are demonic spirits. Okay? Now, every denomination has its own way of dealing with things, and that's fine. I don't care if your church only calls it mental problems or demonic problems or you need healing. God is great enough. He uses whatever He's got to use to get the job done. That's just, He is that great at everything. There's a whole lot of people every day in this country that is experiencing what the Bible would call exorcisms, or we would call nowadays, because we're so sophisticated and so advanced, we call it healings. I don't care what you call it. If your butt gets healed, you get healed. I mean, done. Okay, I went to work next day and I told Debbie and Carol and the girls what had happened. I gave her book back, and it was good. The battle in my mind, even though I was a Christian, the battle in my mind quit. It cleared up. I no longer could hear that voice. Of course, I had already not been able to communicate with the guys at the school. Now, I couldn't travel there. I couldn't do my astral projection thing. And I didn't really understand how all that worked until this happened. When the Lord took this thing out of me, like it or not, you got to realize that the gifts and the abilities that I was used to were not good. They were not mine. A human being does not have the ability to do anything psychically, physically, or anything with their mind. We are all a bunch of dummies. Plain and simple. We are a bunch of dummies. If you have any kind of ability, you got a problem, buddy. Okay, plain and simple. You need to hit your knees and pray about it and give it to God and let Him deal with it however He wants to, in whatever way He needs to. But there is nobody who is able to leave their body and go projecting to the school, or go out and look at this thing that's coming out in space, or just travel around the world. People can't do that. Okay? Demons can. Plain and simple. I don't care if you believe in them or not. The truth has a power of its own. Deal with it. Plain and simple. I didn't believe it either, but I found out that it did. Okay, so now everything's going good, and we're working, and there was one of the ladies at the restaurant had a little girl, her daughter, and her daughter's name was Jennifer, and little Jennifer was 13 years old, and she just loved me to death. She was like, I was a combination big brother, father, boyfriend. Yeah, she just had a crush on me, which, you know, I thought was sweet, but she was a child, okay? Well, Carol still liked to go out occasionally on the weekends, and Carol asked me to babysit with Jennifer. Well, I loved the little girl too, so I would go to Jennifer's house, and she would go, hang on. So I would go up to her house, and Carol would go out clubbing or wherever, dancing with somebody or whatever. And I'd stay there, and me and Jennifer cuddle up on the couch and watch TV. I remember one time she had beautiful long hair. I shampooed her hair in the sink. She just loved that. I mean, she loved it. It was somebody in a male way treating her special, which little girl never experienced that. But it was okay. And it wasn't nothing towards me. I mean, coming out of me, I was just doing the big brother, the fatherly thing. And I loved the little girl to death. Okay, a couple weeks had went by, and we went to Carol's house for a Bible study one night. Well, in the process of the Bible study, I had to go to the bathroom, so I went to the bathroom. Well, when you left the living room and you walked straight to the bathroom, her bedroom was on one side and Jennifer's was on the other. And I, naturally just finding your way around, I had glanced over, and I come back out of the bathroom, and I told Carol, I said, Carol, I thought your bed was over against the other wall. Hang on. And she said, no, it's always been right there where it was. And I didn't think nothing about it. I went on. Well, I noticed that her and Debbie looked at each other. Strangely, it was like they was talking to each other, kind of, you know. And they told me. So Deb, she was a talker. She said, we got to tell you something. She said, Carol's been attacked. And she said, I keep seeing this little short, heavy-set Chinese guy in my mind at the restaurant. And I projected that point. She says, I see him. He's following you around. Well, I knew who that was. And I asked him about the attacks that Carol had been experiencing. What Carol was seeing was a entity that had a goat body with my face, and it was like an evil looking thing, and it was trying to get at Jennifer. And so it was trying to get at Jennifer. This really set me off. But I didn't really know what to do about it. Well, we started saying special prayers. Debbie called people all the way across the country. Give them the name of the school. And something must have happened, because those attacks quit. And everything was good. But that was crazy. That was really, really crazy. For something demonic to attack little Jennifer, just to try and cause me problems. I mean, it was what it was. Okay, next. I still wasn't having no real luck talking to anybody at the church. And I was really heartbroken that Wendy had moved to Colway. So, and the restaurant business got real slow in the wintertime. And my sister, who lived in Lexington, had told me, she said she had a empty house behind her that she owned. She said, if you want to come up and find a job up here, you're welcome to. She said, you can stay out there as long as you need to. Well, it hit me. It's time to go. And at least, see, in my mind, I would be halfway to Jennifer. Oh, no, halfway to Wendy in Colby. I came to Lexington, and I was carried. I mean, I knew I was being carried, being led. First place I went to hired me, and I've been there 37 years. I knew when I went there, this is where I'm supposed to be. You could just feel it. And I knew that I was there for a reason, and God had placed people around in this company to pray for it. And there was 6 or 8 people that I could tell, and I've never talked with any of them, maybe one, about this. There were 6 or 8 people who were there and could have done much better somewhere else. I could have done much better somewhere else. I've turned down 4 jobs in the last 2 years, less than 2 years, all making more money than I'm making right now. But I knew where I was stationed. I knew what my job was. So I moved to Lexington, and I had met this young lady, and we'd been dating some, and I really liked her. But she couldn't get in my heart because of Wendy. Well, I was getting confused. I mean, I simply said a prayer one night. I said, Lord, I don't know what to do. Hang on a minute. I said, Lord, I don't know what to do. Help me. Well, I went to bed that night and I went to sleep. And you know how you have special dreams. And in this dream, and this wasn't a dream, this is something else. I was out in the middle of a desert on a highway. And however, the highway was lit. And I was walking right straight down the middle of the highway, and Wendy was coming up the other side. Well, we walked until we met each other. And we didn't even speak. I just hugged her. And just began to cry. I mean, big time. It was like we were saying goodbye. And I knew it. I woke up crying. I sat up in the bed and I cried. Several minutes, just sitting there crying. But Wendy was taken out of me. And I mean, whereas I loved this girl enough to kill myself for her, she was now gone. Call it a healing or whatever. I always look back at her as an ear corning from a donkey me. And, you know, the jackass, me, the dumbass. Well, okay, forgive me. Well, that opened the door to let me get involved with this girl I was seeing. And we've been together now, 35 years. Married probably 32 or 33. But that was just an experience that I needed. God gave it to me. And I thank Him for it. I thank Him for her. Okay, I said I was going to do this all in 30 minutes. I'm going to do it. There was one other experience that I had. Sitting at the house, I had been reading my Bible, and I smoked at the time. Salem's. I was addicted to menthol. Hang on. Okay, I had run out of cigarettes. There was a little store at Curie Beach called Skipper's. I knew the original owner. Me and his son was best of friends, Eric. And it was middle of summer, you know. And I just took off walking down to the store. And I went in, and I didn't know the guy who run this store. I knew of him. He was a paramedic. He was a business owner. He was a volunteer fireman. Real well-cut guy. A clean-cut guy. And he went to church in Wilmington, and I went in and I told him, I said, I need a pack of cigarettes or Salem's. And I handed him $1. They was like 80 cents then. That shows you how long ago this was. Well, he handed me my change back. And as soon as he handed me my change back, I went out like a light. Okay? I mean, I was out before I hit the ground. Okay? Now, when I woke up, I'll tell you about when I woke up. As soon as I went out, I was flying through the air. I mean, like an airplane, only maybe faster. I could see these 5 or 6 little islands in the middle of a beautiful blue, calm ocean. It had a little wave. These islands weren't very big. The biggest one was probably 100 foot across. And they had beautiful dark gray rocks, little white patches of sand around with very green grass going around the edge of the boulders. Very deep colors, very beautiful. And there was this guy dressed dressed in white. Now I'm coming through the air, and all I could tell was he's dressed in white. This guy, he's got brownish, reddish brown hair, and a beard. And this is happening so fast. I'm just getting like snapshots. I can't watch. It's happening so fast. I just get a couple of snapshots. Well, in just 1 or 2 seconds, I'm on my knees in front of him. Okay, instantly, I knew who this was. This is Jesus. I started coming up. The muscles in my legs had done fired. The muscles in my arms had done fired. I was getting ready, all 200 pounds of me, to jump in his arms. It had done been decided in my mind. I didn't think nothing in the world could stop this from happening. It was going on. I was coming up. As soon as my head got about waist high, I don't know which hand, he touched me. Okay, I don't know which hand, he touched me on the forehead. When he did, I curled up and rolled over on my side, on my right side, just in a ball. It was the most beautiful feeling I've ever had. Okay? I'm laying here and I can think, I'm thinking, and I remember the very thoughts that hit my head, or that when it was in my brain. Because I was laughing inside. My body wasn't laughing, I was. And I thought, I'm laying here dead at the feet of Jesus. And this is the best feeling I've ever had. And I remember thinking, and I believed it. I thought, I can lay right here forever. Okay, those are my exact thoughts. And I was sucking this up like a pig at a poo trough. I mean, there's not words that I know to describe this. I had no consciousness of time. I was in love with the feeling. Unbelievable. Well, the next thing I know, somebody's smacking me in the face. And I wake up. Well, it's this paramedic guy at the store. And he's holding my head up and he's like slapping me around. And he's going, buddy, are you okay? And I'm like, if I tell these people what I just experienced, they're going to lock me up in Wilmington. And the psych ward at the hospital, I told him, I said, I'm fine. And I didn't realize it, but I had kind of been fasting. And I told him, I said, I've just been dieting a little bit. And he said, okay. And he said, buddy, he said, I watched your eyes roll back in your head. He said, I watched you fall straight back. He said, I watched your head bounce on that concrete floor. Like a basketball. And he was shocked. He said, I watched your head bounce like a basketball. He said, I can't find a mark on you. This is a medically trained guy. He said, I can't find a mark on you. And so I got up and, got my little loose change there. And I told him I was fine, thank you much. And I started walking home, and I'm going like, what in the world? Because I'm fully remembering everything that just happened. Well, the Curie Beach cop pulled up beside of me, and he said, so-and-so down at the store told me you'd passed out. He said, I just want to make sure you got home okay. I said, yeah, I'm fine. I told him, I said, I've just been dieting a little bit. And I went home, and the rest of my life, that has been my go-to pictures moment. I don't care what happens. When I get depressed, I just remember that, and things get better. Okay, hang on. Okay, so basic story. I met God. I didn't believe he's God. I fought with him. about killed myself. I was born again. I have experienced a healing. I don't care what you call it, it's an exorcism to me. I mean, you just can't believe projectile green stuff, okay? Gotta see it to believe it. And I've experienced a touch, which has got me through life. This is 40-some years ago all this happened. The last 35 years has been challenging. I've been married, or, with a wife. And nowadays, something's going on nowadays. Everybody I know is being attacked right now. We are in the end times. Some people think we got 2 years left before the rapture. And some people think we got 2 days. It could happen Sunday. It happens when it happens. The Lord's got everything. He's got a plan. He's got everything under control. He's going to do what he's got to do to win this battle. The Lord is not a loser. Okay, I'm running a couple minutes over. I said 30 minutes. I tried. Now, I don't intend to make another video. If the Lord puts it on my heart to do it, I will. This is just a story from me. Like I said, there's less than probably 7 or 8 people alive that know this story. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary. The Lord does what's necessary to win the game. He's not a loser. Now, I know there'll be people that watch this and say, this guy's a fool, he's crazy, he don't know what he's talking about. That's fine. I don't have a problem with that. Because I know what planting of seeds does. I know how it's all a matter of whether it's fertile ground or not. The Lord does things. He does it in His own time, in His own way. He can work in so many different mediums that you can't, I can't comprehend them all. But it's done. May the good Lord bless you and keep you. I hope to see you again someday. God bless and keep. Okay? Alright, guys. Thank you and good night.